President Trump warns North Korea on Tuesday that any U.S. military option would be devastating for Pyongyang, but said that the use of force was not Washington's first option to deal with the country's ballistic missiles and nuclear missile program. This is what he said. We are totally prepared for the second option and not a preferred option, Trump said at a White House news conference referring to military force. But if we take that option, it'll be devastating. I can tell you that. Devastating for North Korea. That's called the military option. If we take it, we will. If we have to take it, we will. That's what Trump said in a statement. And this, let me tell you, this is how you know that this is not a good, like this is really not good. You know how it's really not good? It's not good when like the South Korean leader is like, chill, right? Because like,
oh my God,
South Korea and Japan are like, and China's like, okay, all right, hold up. We have two little kids who both have nukes, and y'all are playing around in our backyard.
Right.
And this is not okay. And that's why this becomes problematic. Now, don't get me wrong. I will be the first to tell you that presidents previous have failed on North Korea.
Yeah. It appears that we are currently failing as well.
I mean, from Bill, and I know, and Rich knows this, I actually know quite a bit about North Korea. I think Bill Clinton tried this idea of appeasing them. We'll give them some oil. We'll give them for if they, get rid of the missile. Like, I mean, then, George Bush came in with a hard line. They're the axis of evil. Then Barack Obama thought,
was like, watch and wait.
We'll just ignore them.
Yeah.
All of those were failures.
Yeah.
And I think North Korea is also, in a very interesting position because now all their big brothers are like, okay. Because at one point in time, the North Koreans, first they depended upon the Russians in the Cold War to be like, listen, just keep us safe. And the Russians like, we got you. Then they depended upon the Chinese. And now the Chinese are like, listen, we're trying to be world players.
Right.
And you guys are just really annoying.
The United States is significantly more strategic to China than North Korea will ever be.
And the Chinese also like, listen, we can't deal with banking sanctions. We really don't want to deal with all of that. So there's that piece. And so now there's a lot of movement, and the Russians are like, oy vey. So now this is a very tricky situation, and Kim Jong Un is somebody who is like, listen, I'm just wild. What his grandfather and his father both understood is if we have nukes, it is the way to keep our regime in power. It's a deterrent measure. We're never really going to use them. They're just there for deterrence. So you don't come over here. You don't try to, like South Korea will never invade us. There'll never be an invasion force. Y'all will just leave us alone.
Yeah.
And every now and then we'll test the nuke or we'll test the missile. So y'all be like, oh, we tested. Don't come over here and fool with us. Just let us be. But now the son is like, I'm a wild boy. I'm 23. I haven't passed puberty.
He's feeling his oats.
I'm feeling my oats, and probably like nobody wants to sleep with him. So now he's in the situation where I'm just going to keep testing nukes and make me feel better about myself. Yeah. And sadly, on our side of the pond, we have a megalomaniac as president.
I know. It's amazing.
Who, like, is a former reality star who gets off on these type of arguments because he thinks it's good for the ratings.
Yeah, I mean, Donald Trump cannot wrap his head around the fact that, North Korea is, for lack of a better term, a lesser country, right? Like, yeah. he is stooping to the level of an insane hermit dictator from a country that's basically cut off from the rest of society. Right,
and let me say this, and I've said this before, and I've gotten a lot of flack for it. There was a whole Mediaite article about what I said before, because people thought it to be controversial. So let me say it now, and maybe I'm controversial. And I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to give you my rationale for it in a minute, and Rich could disagree with me. But let me say this. Now more than ever, we need a moment of cooling to this thing. We need to cool this. We need to put this sucker on dry ice ASAP. So, I propose, America, that we send somebody in here to have a conversation. 6-party talks, 4-party talks. I don't know how many parties you need. 6-party, if it's 6-party China, Japan,
Germany.
Germany, if you want to put Angela.
Germany wants to be involved. They've made that very clear.
Whatever.
Right?
So that's 8 parties. Whoever, like, just let's get people to the table, some people who like North Korea, some people who are on our side, and let's figure out what's going to get this guy to walk it back and what's gonna bring everybody to the table. Let's look everybody in the eye and let's figure out what's gonna walk everybody to the table. I get it. Some of you guys are out there saying, oh, we don't negotiate with terrorists, we don't negotiate with crazy people. Here's my rationale for cooling. We're dealing with a megalomaniac. Kim Jong Un is crazy. And God forbid one of these weapons that he tests. Mind you, the demilitarized zone, 33 longitude latitude, is 33 miles from Seoul, South Korea.
Right.
That's a couple million
economic
people.
Powerhouse. One of the largest
That's
economies.
a fifth. I mean, I think that's a fifth of the world's economy.
Yep.
So if he on accident, which is very possible, hits Seoul, we're a global war.
Well, I mean, at this point, I think all it takes is, you know, them firing a warning shot at an American plane flying near their land.
Thank you.
Like, I mean,
or if he on accident hits Japan.
Oh yeah, that's all it takes.
And we're at war because we have to go because these are both our allies, so we're in war.
Oh yeah, it's on.
And God forbid he does it with a nuclear weapon. Then that's mutually assured destruction. It's called MAD for a reason, because everybody knows it's a mad ideal to do it. So we sit down and we talk. And we figure out what's going to convince this 23-year-old to walk back from the brink. Now, some of you guys are looking at me like I'm crazy. But here's the thing. The moment that he launches a nuclear weapon, there's no going back. There's no walking it back. Mm-hmm. There's no redo. There's no negotiation. There's no Security Council meetings. You have plunged the entire world into a global nuclear catastrophe of epic proportion. Because as soon as he launches a nuclear weapon, according to the agreement that we have with Japan, we have to launch.
Right.
And the moment that we launch, Russia has nuclear submarines in the Bering Strait. This is all fact. You can look it up. They're going to launch.
Yep.
They hit us. China, they're going to be like, oh crap, everybody's launching a nuclear weapon.
Just press the button.
We're going to launch. As soon as China launches, India's going to launch. Because India and China are hated foes. As soon as India launches, Pakistan, who is India's hated foe, they're going to launch. As soon as Pakistan launches and India launches, it's game over. Good night, world.
Yep.
And we're all dead. And those who live to tell the tale, the people in it, like the 10 scientists in Antarctica, who's like, we're still alive.
Yeah.
And maybe a couple people in Brazil who are like, well, we made it.
Yeah.
And maybe if we're lucky, the people out of power in Puerto Rico.
Australia might be fine. They might get lucky. Forget that they're there.
It'll be a global nuclear annihilation. So that is where we're headed. And right now we have an opportunity to be mature and say, okay, let's sit down. Send Rex Tillerson in, right? Send in Angela Merkel's best negotiator. Send in somebody from China. Send in somebody from South Korea. Send in somebody, if Putin wants to have somebody, send in somebody from Russia. Send in somebody from Japan. Get with whoever Kim Jong Un wants to send in, and begin. Like, what is it going to get? What do we need to give you?
Yeah.
Do you want to guarantee?
Not much.
Do you want a guaranteed state for us to take all the nukes? Okay, we'll give you a state. I mean, figure out what is going to convince. Because here's the thing: his leadership is not going away. People are like, oh, we need regime change. Oh, so you're going to assassinate him?
I mean, basically, you're just praying that someone kills him.
Yeah, like that's not. I mean, I don't think that's a workable strategy. So you're going to go like we have no covert ops there.
Right.
So that's not really going to work. Like, I mean, I think we need to sit down and have talks because for the past 7 months, things have just been heating up.
It's not cooling down.
The mercury is just continue to rise. So I know people are looking at me and they're saying, Richard, you're crazy. But I'm not that crazy. I think I'm probably right on this. And I mean, I think y'all think I'm wrong. And I think clearly, when I mediate, I said it 2 months ago, when I mediate, it was a big stink. Everybody on the outnumbered couch thought I was wrong.
Well, there you have it, folks.
But here you go. We'll be back after the break.